hard to turn that down. Here we are, Ropeadope TV, yet another episode. We've lost count here in East Philadelphia. Look it up on the map. Welcome, everybody. Lewis here. Mr. Fabian Brown.
Sorry.
Good to see you. We're back. We've been doing this for a while. Want to try to get it to be a little bit more professional, a little bit more focused. Just don't know how, but I guess we'll work on that. We got coming up, we're going to play some tracks from a couple of upcoming releases. Chet, Doxas, and Richard X. Bennett, as well as La Pingos Orquestra out of Ropeadope Store from Todd Clauser's World. And then we'll chat a little bit about the music business and everything that's happening here at Ropeadope. And we'll go from there.
I'm going to start it off.
Yeah, what you got?
I want to know all about hashtag not jazz.
Not jazz.
Hashtag not jazz. I went to Ropeadope Facebook and I looked at the cover banner and it said hashtag not jazz. The O was replaced by the flame. And
how did it look?
It looked freaking fantastic.
Okay.
And I don't know. I want you to tell me about what that means to you, Mr. Lewis Marks. Not jazz.
You know, ideas come up. And we've been talking about doing a festival for some time, a Ropeadope festival. And the obstacle to the Ropeadope festival is that there's a couple of templates for how festivals go down.
Okay.
And that's about it. There's very little diversity in the way that happens. You got your festival in the field,
Yeah,
right? You got your festival at the fairgrounds or at the stadium or wherever. Those are the same to me. Then you got your downtown jazz festival where you have, 20, 30, 40, 50 events in a city. I prefer the smaller one.
Okay.
I like that. But if we're going to do a festival and bring all of this ridiculous talent, we're going to need to do something really, really amazing. So this is the first part of thinking about that. It's been on our minds for a while. It's been on my mind for a while. We've talked about it a couple times. Right. Artists have said, let's do a festival. We're going to need to do something ridiculous. And I think in one conversation somebody said, well, what, the Ropeadope Music Festival? And I said, not jazz. So there it is. It was supposed to go out there and just sit on the web and see if anybody noticed and see if people had comments about it. And now it's out.
It went worldwide because now
it's not jazz. Tell us what you think of the name. Let us know how we can do a festival in a unique and inspiring way. A couple of the things that I want to bring into it. So everything we do here at Ropeadope is so simple, and you know it because you're right here in the I don't know what the store, the Ropeadope Store. Yeah, the fake office or whatever. So if somebody's doing it a certain way, let's do it a different way. That's just seems to be the new basic rule. That always has been the rule, really. So, what's wrong with the big festivals?
It's a lot.
I mean, for me, the portable toilets,
Mr.
right away. And this is really absurd for a person like me to say, but the heavy drug culture around being out at the festival, I think it brings a lot of people who are just there for the
party.
The party. I'm not saying that people shouldn't party. I think that music should be about the party, but there's a point at which it's party and then music is secondary. Driving a long distance, all the indignities of having to be outdoors, which, when I was younger, it was fun. It was an adventure, but then after about 8 or 10 or 12 or 130 of those, you get a little tired of it, which is my particular case. What's wrong with the Downtown Jazz Fest? It's a little scattered.
Okay.
You have overlapping shows. You're rushing around. You're trying to get from such and such show to somebody else's show.
Yeah.
You're cramming 3 shows into one night, and you lose the people that you were with. It's kind of the opposite of going out and having that communal experience with friends, because one guy's like, no, I'm going over to the Christian Scott thing. Right. Another guy's like, no, I'm going to go see Terrace. Another guy's like, I'm going to go see Queensryche over here. No, different Different genre. Sorry. I don't know.
That's untrainable, man.
I don't know where that came from. But you know what I'm saying. So it's hard. So, and in addition, what are they doing? Like what? How are they extending into the community? So I would like to see something that connects everybody. There are music students. See, kind of like the premise now is if you go to Bonnaroo or you go to Winter Jazz Fest, the premise, we're all here because of X, right? We're all here because we want to go see this music and be out in a field on the weekend. And then we're all here in New York because we like the jazz scene and we're going to be here, right? What are the real reasons? What are the real things that connect all the people? So you got jazz students, you got, rather than have one event connect everybody in a particular place, I'd rather see the real connections between the people
come up front.
So maybe it's in a college campus.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of ideas past that. College is kind of the first place I want to go because the students are there. The setting is a little bit more subtle. It can be near a center where people can stay in hotels and go out to the festival rather than camping and dealing with lines, or even the day trip thing. And then programming. I'd like to see programming in a not jazz festival around education and around community and culture. Maybe even fashion, something that's a little bit more immersive and comprehensive than just we're going out for entertainment or we're going out for this kind of entertainment. Music is so much more, and I'd like to see the people the artists more interactive. That's the greatest part about the downtown thing. Like, you can actually meet the artists after each show. You can talk to people. You don't get that at a Bonnaroo or...
Yeah, they're accessible.
What's that one in California? The big,
South by West?
Coachella.
Oh, Coachella.
Yeah. So, not jazz.
I love it.
That's a 5-minute answer to your question.
I love it. You said Chet Doxas.
Well, let's announce, right? So we came in with, and this is really what I'm supposed to do. We came in with a track called "Say Om" 108 times by Richard X. Bennett, who has 2 records coming out with us in the fall. That's from one of the records, both on the same day, by the way. 2 records from Mr. Bennett. Now, speaking of Chet Doxas...
That's his style, isn't it?
That man's got style. Yeah.
2 records coming out on the same day. I was a drummer. I wish I was a drummer.
Well, there's only so much time we can spend sitting in front of the camera without saying anything. So, that's a long,
I forgot we were recording.
It's a long intro, yeah. and there it is. So this record is out in the fall as well. Early October, I think, or no, September 1.
September 1.
Yeah, Chet Doxas.
September 8th, excuse me.
September 8th, okay. We're going to put some comments and some links in there where you can get information about Chet. I don't think we have time in this show to fully describe, but we wanted you to hear some of this upcoming music. Pre-order starts
For Chet, the 25th of August. It's supposed to be the 11th of August. We got
yeah. No. So okay. So this is a track that's coming out as an instant gratification track, and it'll be available on Spotify as a single.
Nice.
On the early side. So August 11th, just a couple weeks away.
So I got another question for you. You know, we were talking, and it came up in a couple different conversations about, you know, what's going on in media today, and you know, journalists and publicists and writers and editorials and all these, you know, what's your thought around collaboration versus competition? What's working for musicians? What's working for writers? You know, what's working for the people in the industry, and what do you feel it's not working? Along the lines of collaborating versus people traditionally, you know, competing for one, you know.
Right. Well, I see the whole thing as people used to compete, and in the future, people are going to collaborate.
Okay.
And then some people are going willingly, and others are not
Resisting?
getting it. Yeah. Well, you know, in some cases, it's a that's all I know scenario. You know, I grew up in this world, and dadgum, I'm sticking to it. You know, like that's the way I'm going to do it. Some people might have a personality situation where they're feeling insecure, or they're relying on ego, where they're just, you know. And some are just like, oh, okay, show me, you know. Those are the ones I want. I think that in general we're coming off an era of people being taught that competition is healthy, the competition is the norm, and that there's a finite pie that we're all going to get a share of. If anybody zooms out and looks carefully at it, you'll realize that the pie grows. That's because of creativity, and creativity comes from interaction and collaboration. So on the media side, you know, we've I would say that after the last few weeks of seeing some really informed writing on, you know, and I wish I had time to read more. But I did find up until, you know, just a month ago that a lot of the writing fairly simple and, you know, a little bit boring. But I think we've honed in on a few people that have been kind enough to write about some of our artists that have really, you know, dug in a little bit. They're writing a little bit, but I think, you know, good writers are tough.
They're out there.
You specifically asked the question regarding media, right?
Right. Well,
yeah,
100%. You know, and that's kind of a good segue because by the time this airs, Downbeat did a feature on, well, not just Ropeadope as a label, but it also highlighted a lot of artists that are under that catalog.
Well, so the thing is Indie Spotlight. Right. Ropeadope Records, right? And, you know, never mind the things that are scary about that, you know, when you... And musicians have to deal with this all the time. Someone can interview you, and there's the possibility that they're going to write well. There's the possibility that they're going to write poorly. Then there's also the possibility that they're just going to throw you under the fucking bus, right? So it's a strange thing. So and how did I perform in the interview? So I was interviewed for this by Ken McAuliffe from Downbeat, and you know me, I'm a very unprepared individual, and just put it right out there, right? So in the phone call, I'm just talking about Ropeadope, you know, and then afterwards I thought, well, you know, how well is that going to be written? You know, did he understand what I meant?
How did you feel about it?
I had no idea what the thing was going to read like. And what was really interesting about it, I think, is that, you know, Ken took it a step further. Instead of just being about the label, he recognized somehow that the label is the artist, which is fairly simple, but you could miss that, right? So, you know, a label spotlight could be about the guy who runs the label, right? And that's kind of the vibe, right? Because that's who you're interviewing. But it's not about me. And so he caught, it seems pretty quickly, that it's all about the artists.
Right.
And he really talked at length about many of the people on the label. Seems to be as many as he could fit in there.
He really did.
He talked about it, and he talked about them intelligently, and you know, and shout to the editor of Downbeat as well, Mr. Reed, for, you know, just, you know, giving that much space in a publication that I'm sure is just inundated with submissions for what we're doing here. So I was pleasantly, I don't want to say I was surprised, but I'm pleased. I like it. And there's no typos.
Yeah.
Now that might sound like a strange statement, but I was reading Washington Post online the other day, a political piece, not just like a pop music piece or something, you know, or a Dear Abby or something. You know, it was like
typos.
Right in the well, not just typos, but like the wrong word. You know, like a there instead of a there.
Oh no!
Or yeah. So, and this, if you're reading online, and I'm not a grammar Nazi, but you know, if I'm noticing it, things are bad, right? So no typos. It really, I like it. So I can only imagine what it's like to work for a publication of any sort right now. It's a competitive environment for labels, so it must be equally as competitive for media people. And then all the more reason to take it back to your question before is that, like, collaborative is the new black. Like, that's what we have to do for us all to survive as the traditional structures of the past break down. So we're finding some gems in that process of people who are at these publications who are still writing well, despite, you know, a seemingly, you know, a trend downwards, but fighting a good fight and looking for the future.
You know,
that's a beautiful.
I'm just noticing
collection
the title
of photos.
I'm just noticing the title.
Fostering widespread collaboration.
That's great.
Well, there you go, and it ties right back in. So, you know,
that's great.
It's good.
So
pleased to see it. I hope people get it.
He talks about the Polyseeds, Trevor Lawrence Jr., Shayna Steele, Maurice Brown, Mark DeClivelo. Who else did he get in
Malika
there?
Tyrolian. He references every one of the Polyseeds. He talks about Eddie Palmieri. He talks
Adam
about
Turchin.
Adam Turchin. Yep.
There's one quote. I want you to maybe take this quote from Maurice Brown. So, Brown feels at home on Ropeadope. So here's the quote. Unlike most labels, Ropeadope has a stronger sense of community and camaraderie among its artists, he said. We all support each other and play on each other's projects and share our fan bases. Often musicians can be standoffish if they share a label, but not at Ropeadope. Everyone is cool. Maurice
I'm not arguing with that, you know? I mean,
that's great.
You know, I mean, not that I would expect him to say, "Yeah, it's all right."
That's strong.
Then that wouldn't get written about. But you know, I'm really happy. You know.
So do you feel that? Do you feel like, you know, everyone's, you know, like,
all the time? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Maurice is a perfect example of somebody who is what we want to foster. I mean, he was already there in so many ways.
Right.
But we did that YouTube session with him. 9 a.m. session, bam, come in, get it done. You know, obviously a strong work ethic, obviously very much used to being independent, not asking anyone to pick up the ball and run with it for his business, for his game. Right. He knows it's his game, right? He's an independent guy. That's what we're trying to do here, is support. But it's not just support the guys who are already independent, who already have game. It's like, let's move everybody, you know. Everybody, we're going this way. You know, get in the lifeboat. This is the way. So it's great to hear Maurice say that. You know, I love it, and I don't always know you know, that somebody like Maurice in an interview situation would say something as kind as that. You know, I'm glad that he's feeling it, and he's a great model.
That's awesome.
Not just for other musicians, but for just people in general. It's like, you know, smile and do your work and be proactive and own your shit.
I love it.
You know. All right, so now we got a little Pingos. These guys sound like they just have a hell of a lot of fun doing what they do. La Pingos Orquestra from Mexico City, I believe. Yep, on Ropeadope Store, out this Friday.
The 28th?
The 28th,
July
along
28th.
with Unity. And who am I missing on Friday? It's the whiskey.
No, the 20th. Oh, East Scott Linder.
East Scott
Oh,
Linder. Well,
man.
we played East Scott last week, so go back if you want to hear. But also July 28th, Friday. Pick up Unity, stream it, support, send a tip.
Send a tip.
Whatever.
You could do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
I love it.
Just email Fabian.
My PayPal
Post in the
account
comments.
is-
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Can I give out your cell number?
No.
Yeah.
Please, no. So three
records on Friday. Ropeadope Store. Infinity Gritty is Adam Ahuja's label. The East Scott Linder record is getting great response everywhere.
It sure
it's
is.
beautiful. It deserves it. And La Pingos on Ropeadope Store. All coming out this Friday. And that ends an amazing July.
It's like my theme music to life.
It's like Clint Eastwood just went south. He's just like, I'm out. Enough of all you freaking badass guys trying to shoot me. I'm going south with this Mexican lady, and I'm just out of here.
I mean, violin, clarinet, trumpet. I love it. I love it. That's all I got, man.
That's it. Well, you know what? We're cutting the show short. We gave you a half an hour show to begin with. Now we're gonna start taking 5 minutes off.
And 20.
Once a month till it's down to a 3-minute show. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Fabian.
Thanks, Louis.
Ropeadope TV, East Philadelphia. Check these records out. They'll be in the credits.